I used to date this guy named Tyler back in high school. I'm 29 now, and I have a 9-year-old daughter, so this must have been around 12 to 13 years ago, I guess. We were each other's first real love relationship. We even wore promise rings, which was a pretty big deal back then. We talked about getting married and what our life together would be like. Basically things people say or do when they've been together a year as teenagers. So as things went on, we began to argue and fell into a cycle of breaking up and getting back together. I was immature and stupid, and I ended up getting together with another guy during one of our breakup periods. It became a messy love triangle situation, and Tyler and I finished for good after I chose this other guy. Not my proudest moment, but I was 17 and I lacked insight. A few years later, I made a Facebook account, and out of curiosity, one day I looked up Tyler. We added each other on Facebook and I messaged him, apologizing for what happened between us. I was happily married at this time, and we had just had our daughter. Tyler was a good sport about it, and we remained amicable friends through social media. I really only ever talked to him to say happy birthday or randomly comment on a status. Another few years went by, and Tyler got into a relationship with a woman named Laura. I was happy to see him moving on. My own marriage hadn't worked out, but I was happy with my life and with raising my daughter on my own. During Christmas one year, I found an old Polaroid of me and Tyler outside of a cabin. It was back when we were dating. I messaged him telling him about it, and I recalled how much fun we had had. He didn't reply, and this was before those scene stamps underneath the messages. Later, I found out I was no longer on his friends list. A few months later, I get a message from Laura. She basically called me names and said that she saw the message I had sent him months ago. She told me never to contact him again and that I needed to get over him. She went on to boast about how a charm bracelet he had once given me was nothing compared to what he bought her these days. She said that the silver promise rings were BS, and he had bought her a beautiful gold engagement ring with several diamonds. Well, I never responded to that craziness. I got off Facebook, and not long afterward, I ended up making an entirely new profile and adding only my close friends and family. Over the next few years, I would get requests from people I didn't know. I somehow knew that it was all her because the first account that I had mistakenly added began sending me abusive messages, calling me all kinds of names and saying that I would never find true love. Afterwards, I never added anyone else again that I personally did not know. I don't know how she kept finding my other accounts. She tried adding me on Instagram, Twitter, and she even somehow found out what my phone number was. When Snapchat became a thing, I got a request from a user who was using one of my Facebook friends' names, but on their profile, it had a horror and cursive writing on paper. I kept blocking and maintaining no contact because, honestly, there was nothing else I felt I could do. This year, I had joined a dating app, and I met a guy within the first week. His name was Nate, and he had a few pictures of himself. He was average looking, so it didn't raise any red flags with me. He said that he had an Android phone, so he couldn't FaceTime me. However, we could talk on the phone. It was definitely a man's voice that I was conversing with. We texted over the next few weeks, and things seemed to be going well, so I thought it would be okay for a meetup. So we scheduled the time and place. A week before this was supposed to happen, he asked me about my past relationships. I didn't think too much of it when he asked me about my first real relationship. He seemed keen on details and asked me if I had feelings for my ex. I assured him I didn't, but that I also didn't hate him because I was the one who messed things up, and he was actually a very good guy. We talked a lot about that relationship, and then he said he was looking forward to meeting me. We chose to meet at an outdoor cafe because I didn't like the idea of him showing up at my house since I didn't actually know who he was. I was very excited. This was my first date in a very long time. So imagine my confusion when I saw a woman spot me and smile and start walking over. When she sat down, I was shocked to say anything, and yes, it was Laura. She had a smug look on her face and said, "Hey babe," and kept smiling. She confessed that it was her the entire time. At that point, I honestly didn't know what to say. What did I ever do to this girl to get all these reactions from her, and for her to invest all this time into doing this to me? This is what she told me. Almost 6 years ago, when she and Tyler got together, he told her about his first relationship. She went on his friends list and saw me and went through all my pictures and posts, trying to see what he saw in me. Then, when I messaged him, she confronted him over why I had any pictures of me and him together and why he needed to have me on Facebook. That's when he unfriended me and promised her that he would never talk to me again. She told me that she hated me and said that I was someone who loves playing games with people's emotions and that she wanted to give me a taste of it. She said that she made up all these accounts so she could keep an eye on me and make sure that I wasn't going to be in the same city as her and Tyler. I live outside their city, by the way. She would walk by places I mentioned that I would be at to make sure that Tyler wasn't meeting up with me. She also knew where I worked through my LinkedIn. She even recruited one of her friends to play the role of Nate on the phone. The most disturbing part, however, was when it came to my daughter. This woman had actually become extremely fixated on my daughter. She was convinced that she shared some similarities with Tyler and had become obsessed, thinking I had a kid with him that I kept a secret. She told me to not even think about suddenly revealing it to him as some ploy to get back together with him, that she would be the only one to give him a baby. I was beyond horrified. All I remember doing was getting up from the table and telling her never to contact me again. I got in my car and just sat there in silence for a bit. The first thing I did was call my daughter's school and alert the front desk of a possible situation where someone who wasn't me or her father would try to pick her up. I called up my brother afterwards and told him what happened. He urged me to call the police. I did, but I ended up getting the whole spiel about not having any documented proof it's her, so they really couldn't help me out. It's been a few months, and I haven't heard anything from her. My brother thinks that she got what she wanted by asserting herself as Tyler's one and only, and now she will leave me alone. Still, I have massive paranoia when it comes to what I post on social media and where she might be lurking next. I've told my family and close friends about the situation and warned them not to add any strange profiles. I also showed my neighbors a picture of Laura so that they could call the police if they saw her around the house. I wouldn't put it past her to know my address and start peeping in on our windows. I also changed out the locks as a precaution.